Alright guys, I think finally I should have this working and I can record the Q&A. So what's up you peeps? I hope you're doing well. Fellow YTP enjoyers and fans of weird animations. Here I am, making a Q&A. I'm making this late because I was finishing the last YTP, so I'm making the Q&A now. And I hope you enjoy my answers to these questions. I already recorded like 7 minutes yesterday, but it didn't really record my audio, so I didn't, I just waited another day to redo this. And so I hope everything goes well. Anyways, first question. When are you doing a Q&A? Right now. I'm doing it right now. What made you decide to do YTPs? And do you regret making any past YTPs? So, this is really interesting because I don't necessarily regret. Okay, which question am I going to start with? I'm going to start with what made me decide to start YTPs. I have a lot of nostalgia towards YTPs. I remember being a kid and just enjoying like 2012, 2013 YouTube. I must have been 9 years old at the time. And I remember like just watching stupid videos like Stickman animation videos, Nerf, War videos. I remember like just a lot of weird stuff, Sparta remix, and just just like stupid memes. And some of those videos were actually YTP videos, YouTube poops. One that always sticks to my mind is an old Toy Story YTP that I just always died laughing at. And even like Winnie the Pooh YTP. So that was like my introduction to YTPs, was basically my introduction to the internet. And it's just super nostalgic, and the fact that I am able to make YTPs now and people enjoy them and watch them is an absolutely amazing feeling. And I decided to make YTPs. My first YTP is from late 2016, and it's of Charmix. And this was back when when he was still growing a beard. And I made my first YTP of him called Charmix Becomes Personal with His Toilet. I was very young. I must have been around 12 years old when I made that video, and it's certainly not very good. It's funny because some of the same jokes in that YTP I still use now, so I haven't changed that much over the years, which is crazy. And I just really wanted him to react to it. Like, I just really wanted to see his reaction to my YTP. Like, that was the dream. And when it finally happened in 2018, it was an amazing feeling, and so I just continued going because people really enjoyed it. But I've always kind of wanted to do videos like YTPs. Do I regret making any past YTPs? So this is really interesting because I don't necessarily regret making any past YTPs. And if I would have regretted, I would have probably made them unlisted, which I didn't. I regret doing things in YTPs. That's for sure, like offensive jokes that didn't need to be there at the time. But thinking back, I'm just sad that I didn't make more YTPs. I feel like I really should have made another YTP of Charmix after Charmix becomes 18+. It was going to be called Charmix Reacts to Charmix. It was going to be around 8-9 minutes. And actually some of the ideas you see in Fresh Cuts Then Becomes Demented, such as the water pipe part, was one of the ideas I had for that YTP after Charmix becomes 18+. I just ended up using it here, and so it's weirdly cathartic, I think that's the right word, to see him use that as the thumbnail for his reaction, because that was always going to be part of the next YTP after Charmix becomes 18+. At least that's what I remember. I know that idea is one of the oldest in that YTP. I don't know, I always thought that Rayman music, like, it just fit the scene. So thank you for your question, Crimexy. How long did this YTP take you? If you mean Fresh Custom Becomes Demented, that took me about 2 months. And Driver 3 Joe Becomes Unnatural took me 2 days. Barely took 2 days, like it was made very, very quickly. English or Spanish? I'm gonna say English. Spanish is a beautiful language. I'd much rather learn it than German, because in schools here, you have to learn German. Like, that's one of the, like, English is like the main language, and then you have a secondary foreign language, which is German. German is a nice language, but it's kind of hard. I'm sure Spanish is hard as well to learn, but I do like the sound of Spanish. I always have. I think it's a beautiful language. Wait, are you sure? Luma, I'm absolutely sure that I'm doing this Q&A right now. Yeah, it's a long time since my last one. Okay, Ngu. Oh boy, oh my god. I'm gonna have to go a little bit quickly over these because there's a lot. Do you have a girlfriend? If not, then why not? And to add, if you don't have one, can I be your special sub pony? Okay, I don't have a girlfriend, and I haven't had a relationship necessarily in a really long time. And that's really because I had like a really bad experience in my last relationship. And ever since then, I've kind of been avoiding it a little bit. Now, I have tried to start things. It always ended up turning extremely bad because either that person was just really weird. Like, I'm like not even like joking, like just genuinely weird. Like a person has confessed, like we're gonna meet again and talk, and then they're just like, yeah, you know what I like to do in my free time? I like to watch gore videos. Yeah, no, I immediately ended that. I don't want to have anything to do with a person who likes that kind of stuff because that's weird. So I'm kind of holding off on relationships and focusing on other things like improving my mental state and whatnot. But in the future, I mean, I'm totally open to it when I feel a little bit better. You know, it's been a long time. Why not? Hey, I'm open. Do you save your toenail clippings in a jar? If so, can you send them to me? I am very sorry. No, unless you pay me $100, then I'll think about it. What a weird question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 7 being the highest, what is your favorite color of the alphabet? Mine's triangle, by the way. I'd probably say square. No, you know what's my favorite? Diamond. I love the diamond. It's my favorite color. Also, 7. Could you do YTPs where it is more or less just pure chaos and comedy? I enjoyed the story in your FTS YTP, don't get me wrong, but I really want to see some straight up chaos that makes you lose your absolute crap on. Absolutely. Fresh Custom Becomes Demented was a lot more artistic than it was supposed to end up being, and I still think it's my favorite YTP I've done. But is it the best one I've done? As a YTP, probably not. I think it's my best video, just not my best YouTube poop. I from now on do want to make more chaotic YTPs. I really feel like my next Fresh Custom YTP might not be like the most chaotic, but maybe after that I would want to make a Fresh Custom YTP that is just pure chaos. Like we're talking like crazier than Charmix Becomes 18+. I really feel like I can turn it up to 120 if I want to. It takes a lot of editing and time, but I feel like I could do it. So yeah, I'm heavily considering just going crazy. Would you expand your YouTube poop sources if you do in fact return to YTPs even on occasion? Some Paula Dean, Driver 3 Joe, DJL Reacts, MLP, and whatever else you can come up with would be really fun. Yes, I already did Driver 3 Joe. I want to make maybe like one more of him. I hope he reacts to the one I made, because that'd be funny. But I do. SpongeBob is... I want to make a SpongeBob YTP. I've always wanted to do Good Mythical Morning YTP. Actually a deleted scene from Charmix Becomes 18+. At the end, there was a part that was a YouTube poop, like a 40-second part of GMM. Good Mythical Morning. So I would want to do that. I feel like I could go crazy artistic but chaotic with that. Not even like story driven. SpongeBob, Paula Dean. I really want to return to Paula Dean as well. So yeah, I want to expand. I feel like you're gonna see more non-Fresh Custom YTPs than Fresh Custom YTPs from now on. But if it is a Fresh Custom YTP, you know, I'm taking my sweet time with it to make it good. Would you be open to hosting YouTube collabs in the future? Yes. That is something I am thinking of doing. I'd love to do a Fresh Cut Slim Mecha collab. Please never use AI to make your YouTube poops. It's already overused enough and I hate it. Not a question, but I don't effing care. I kind of feel similarly. I don't necessarily hate AI, but because I think that there are ways to make it good. I just hope that it doesn't become the main selling point of YTPs. Like, look at this crazy AI stuff. I like it when it's used in parts. I don't know why I have trouble speaking. Sound like I'm sucking on a freaking, I don't even, you know what, I'm not even gonna finish, actually that's worse that I'm not finishing that. I wanted to say soap. I want to say, why did I forget the word for soap? I'm not gonna suck on a soap. Anyways, I'm thinking of using AI in the future, but very, very limited, and I'll make sure to let you know it is AI, and it'll never be my, like, the main thing I do. I just don't like it that much. Now, I'm not judging you if you use AI, because most people that use AI do it in hilarious ways, but, you know, I do hope that YouTube poops don't just become AI videos, because I think the humor of, like, manually splicing and doing all that is just so funny and iconic for YouTube poops. When are you doing that MLP binge that I told you to do? Hey, I'm gonna do it, okay? I remember watching that as a kid, so well, fuck it. But I do have other things to do. That's not to, like, you know, do other things, but, or like to move away from the question, but fuck it, why not? I already watched, like, I'm not ashamed of it. I already watched, like, Barbie movies just for fun, because why the fuck not? They're actually pretty good. I want to see some more saucy stuff in your next YTP. You gotta be careful though, like, YouTube can be crazy. YouTube can be crazy when it comes to that stuff. But I'll try. Have you seen any of the YTPs I made myself? They're not the greatest, I'm never gonna claim that they are. However, if it isn't a bother to you, I'd like to know what you think of them. If I do a stream again, maybe like next week, I will try my best to react to your guys' YTPs and rate them. I think that'd be really fun. What future YTPs do you plan to work on, or ideas in the near future? I want to make a SpongeBob YTP, and I want to make a Paula Deen YTP, and I want to make a really creepy Fresh Cut Slim YTP. That's right now what I'm kind of planning on. What are your sources of inspiration when you think of what to do in a YTP? Let me stop for a second. I'm gonna drink. Alright, I'm back. And the question was, what are your sources? I can't speak right now. I'm so sorry. But I already read the question. The answer? Man, like half the ideas just I get spontaneously while screwing around with like video, and the other half is pre-planned. So I don't know, I just have this like kind of intuition for when I see something, like for example, I see Fresh Cut Slim do a noise and I'm instantly thinking, ha, that sounds like a horse, I could make him into a horse. And then it's like, oh, well obviously you turn his face into a horse, then maybe he starts running around the house, his apartment, as a horse. Then maybe he vomits carrots, because horses eat carrots, and then there's weird music that plays that kind of fits the situation. And that's how you get a RoxyYTP part. It's just like kind of listening to music, and that inspires you for like craziness. But they just gotta happen in my head. Like I just create it, like I just think of what to do, and it kind of pops into my head like these crazy ideas that usually have something to do with transformation, or like weird, like, I don't know, something with the mouth, eyes, or like something sexual, something horrible. It's just like a mix of those things, and then adding the right music and maybe making the right edits. That's not necessarily, that's not the answer to this question though. The question is, what are my sources of inspiration? I just literally answer this question like how I get inspiration, with like sources of inspiration. Okay, let me redo the answer. Syriac. Syriac is huge and has always been a big inspiration for me. Surreal Entertainment, many other, you know, 3D animators who make like these weird animations. Even Fresh Cut Slim himself, like his humor has impacted me over the years. And like also old cartoons. Like some of these old Czech cartoons are super, super weird and creepy, but I love them. So ever since I was a kid, like my mind has just been really, really weird. And my main sources of inspiration, really, it comes from like weird animators. And maybe even YouTubers. Are you going to make another Fresh Cut Slim movie? I do want to, but it's probably not going to be anytime soon. And if I do, it's going to include less YTP and much more animation, and it'll definitely be more connected to the game that I want to make, so Dead Open. And I feel like a Fresh Cuts the Movie 2 would be, I don't know, it'd be really interesting. I would definitely want to do it one day, but it'd be less of a YTP. It'd be like this weird thing. I don't want to say to spoil it, even though it's like not gonna happen anytime soon, but it's got to do something with doors. I'd love to use the usage of like doors and entering portals into like YTP parts. I literally just kind of said the idea. So I don't know what I said. I'm not gonna say spoil it. Whatever. But yeah, I'd love to make another Fresh Cuts the Movie. I feel like that'd be the final one. But it's not happening anytime soon because it took so long, and by the time that I make the second one, if I do, I want to be a lot better at animating and modeling. What is your inspiration when you make your creepy, weird parts in YTPs like Charmix become something weird? Or your more recent ones like Fresh Cuts then becomes demented? So it's very similar, again. Half of it is just listening to music and getting weird ideas and just kind of imagining it. Then like maybe it's 25% weird animators like Syriac and Serial Entertainment, as I've said, and other ones obviously. And then the other 25% is like just screwing around in Photoshop. And usually I don't think of these creepy, weird parts as creepy. I see them as being cool. Like, I'm kind of messed up when it comes to that. Like, I'm just like, oh, that's so cool. Like, oh. But then it gives people nightmares. To be fair, Nightmare in Charmix becomes something weird, you know, the weird teethed monster, did scare me when I made it back then. It doesn't scare me now. I think it's super cool. Not a question, just a request. Never make pedophilic jokes in your YTPs. I think Soda Man has affected the Charmix YTPs in general. I've never had a big problem with Soda Man's humor, even though it was super, super dark. But I did think pedophilic jokes, you know, you gotta be so careful with them. You gotta be so careful. Like, that's the most messed up kind of joke you could probably do. Aside from, like, Holocaust jokes, which are, like, the worst. And racist jokes also, like, really risky. But pedophilic jokes, like, they're so hard to do well. And I'm not gonna lie, like, just it is good shock humor. It's never been my humor really, because it's just so dark. And my main problem was that Soda Man was like kind of okay when he did it. Not okay, but like it was done somewhat well. And that's not a knock at Soda Man, it's just not that much of my thing. But the problem was that, as you're saying here, it's affected the Charmix YTPs in general. Like, that was a kind of a bad time for Charmix YTPs where everybody was just making him say the N-word, like hard R's, and making pedophilic jokes. Like, it was just, yeah, and it starts to get really old. I feel like that really was detrimental, to just Charmix YTPs back then. And it just started getting repetitive and kind of just unsettling at a point where everybody was just making those jokes. I'm not gonna make them. Not just for the sake of the fact that I don't find them that funny, but it's just for the future, for my well-being in the future, that people don't find those videos and are like, oh, he just made pedophilic jokes over and over again, right? Like, it's not my thing, and I'm not gonna do them. That is no hate against Soda Man, by the way. What is your inspiration for all your randomness? Again, it really just comes down to like weird cartoons I used to watch, and music, and like other creators. And then it just all kind of combines, and my head, like, I don't really have a talent for many things. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have a talent. I do have one though. I don't know if you can call it a talent, but I just am really, it's really easy for me to visualize like weird things happening when I watch something. So I'm watching like a video and I'm thinking, oh, you could do this and that's weird. You could do this and that's weird. And you could add this music. Like, this music would really fit. I kind of just have this intuition for what could be weird and funny and scary. And so that's why I'm kind of, I don't know, it's weird, it's hard to explain. But again, like, random creators that make creepy and weird stuff, or even like comedians, just like everywhere where you can find comedy. I've probably been there, done that, and taken inspiration. But really, it just, my head is just weird when it comes to this stuff. I don't want to make it sound like I'm better than other people because I think of better stuff. That's not the case. But like, I have a specific style, and I didn't always have it. And I have a specific style because I'm doing what my head creates, and I'm not necessarily trying to do what other people are doing. And that kind of makes it a bit more, like, unique. And randomness, it's weird because it seems super random, but there is, like, pacing. There is order to the randomness. Like, when I make, like, a part, I always think what comes before it, what comes after it. And I kind of try and pace the randomness so that it's not too random, but it's not boring. So it's just random enough where you can follow it, but it's still, like, schizophrenic insanity. Thank you, Gorking, for the question. What was your inspiration to start making YTPs? Okay, we're getting some question repeats, so I'm just gonna quickly say... Sorry. Oh my god. I don't know what that was. Let me drink. I need a drink. My inspiration was... YTP's always been a part of my childhood. I always wanted Charmix back then to react to one of my YTPs, and I've always found them funny. I've always loved the idea of making a YTP myself because I was like, oh yeah, I want to try something like this. I feel like I could do YTP, I could make YTPs because I always loved watching them. So yeah. Are you going to be making YTPs anymore? Yes, I will. It might be some time before you see new ones, but I want to make more. Are you going to make a Discord server? I want to, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon because I'm very active right now. I might not be as active in the upcoming weeks or months. I'm not going to be dead, but I have kind of not trauma. That's a harsh word, but I have bad experiences with having a Discord server and the upkeep and what happens, like the drama that happened. Like I kind of want to take a break from like Discord. Had this habit after like, and this was like 2 bad experiences with like 2 servers. Like, I'll give it some time to think about it, but in the future, I'm open to it. What happened to the Five Nights at Charmix video game? It's weird because the game was nearly finished, but it just broke. I don't know what I did. At least that's how I remember this. It might have gone differently, but I remember it like getting broken and losing like a lot of files. And it just, for the love of God, wouldn't want to export and play, like, for other people other than myself. And sometime after that, I was just like, okay, Charmix quit, so I'm not going to bother finishing this, because I've lost so much of it, of the game. Like, it's a shame, because I put a lot of work into it. I don't think it's ever going to be finished, because I've lost everything, and I forgot how I even made it. So... yeah, it's a shame. It was almost finished, and I took a lot of time with it, but I should have just been working on another Charmix YTP instead of it. But that's fine. See, another one of those regrets, but it's like, you get another chance now. Thank you, Jacob, for the questions. What's your best YTP by far? I still think my best YTP... that's tough, because... it's gotta be between Charmix becomes 18+ and First Cousin becomes Demented. I'll say this, I think First Cousin becomes Demented is my magnum opus. Like, the editing and the story in it, it's just, I'm really happy with it. I know Fresh Cousin didn't have a great response to the 3D parts and in general to the YTP. It wasn't, I'm not saying it was a bad reaction, but you know, when you have him laughing, like I've kind of gone through this. It happened with last round for Charmix when he's like losing it at parts that I didn't expect him to lose it at, and he's not laughing at the parts I expect him to laugh at. It's this weird situation where I feel disappointed in myself because I completely misjudged how this video was going to be received. And I don't know, it's this weird thing. Because as you can tell, like, how I personally feel about what I make is heavily influenced by how other people like it or feel about it. I'll say this, I think Charmix becomes 18+ has the potential to be my best YTP. I want to release Charmix YTP, Charmix Becomes 18 Plus, like re-release it. It'd be like Charmix Becomes 18 Plus Deluxe Edition or something, or Full Edition, where it's every single part that's been deleted from it is put into it, and it's re-edited in a way that makes it better. So really just making the version that it was supposed to be. Because what we got with Charmix Becomes 18 Plus all those years ago was a version of it that wasn't as good as it could have been. I think it's just because back then I wasn't used to working on something for so long, and so it kind of fried my brain, where I started like getting confused about what's funny and what's not. And so a lot of parts I just deleted or changed to have them be less funny. It's really weird. I think if I make that improved version of Charmix Becomes 18 Plus, it will be my best YTP I've ever made. I will say this though, I think Fresh Custom Becomes Demented is the best video I've made. Maybe not the best YTP, but the best video for sure. Who are you? Why are you in my recommended? I'm actually super surprised that I'm in people's recommended. That YouTube hasn't like blacklisted me or something. Thank you for being here and commenting. Who am I? I go by many names. You can call me Roxy, you can call me Philip Davids. Do you like Scoopy Snacks? And this is a horrifying comment. I love Scoopy Snacks, but also kind of traumatized because of like the old Scooby-Doo video games, and they scared the shit out of me. So Scooby Snacks, when I see this, I just think horrible nightmares I had as a kid. I do like Scooby Snacks though. I bet they're super good. What is your favorite creature you made yet? That's actually a really good question. I'm gonna think about that. Wait, I'm gonna drink and think about it. So, I'm back from being outside, and obviously we're going... Oh my god, sorry. I may be a little bit sick. I hope I don't get sick. What was your favorite creature you made yet? There's so many I like. I really like the weird, like, scissor Saharan ghoul thing that is now actually the main villain, and I want to use him for the new game that I'm making. Not exactly what you're seeing, but that face is like, I want to reuse that face, and it's gonna be like infecting bodies, and it's super cool. I don't have a name for it yet, but they're actually two separate things. Like this, like the face is basically like sorry, the face is basically like taking over different creatures, and so that scissor lift creature is like its own thing. The face thing actually loses control of it in Fresh Cuts and becomes demented, and so it's kind of freed. That's why it looks somewhat normal. So I like that one a lot. I also like Nightmare from Charmix Becomes Something Weird. I also like, there's so many I love. I love the Jawbreaker like thing with the teeth. Like that part in Charmix Becomes 18 Plus is so good. I love it. I'm really proud of that one. There's so many creatures I love, but I'd say like those are some of my favorites. They're just so iconic, and I think we'll get to talking about them more in a little bit. So thank you, Dosu, for the question. You got any broccoli? No. I love broccoli though. I do love it. If you ran into Charmix, Fresh Custom IRL, what would you say to him? I don't know, that'd be kind of weird. I know he doesn't like to get recognized in public. I'm sure I'd probably recognize him. But I'd be like, hey, I'm Roxy. I love your content. And just kind of leave. Like, I wouldn't want to really bother him that much, but it'd be super cool. I would love to meet him, or even talk to him, honestly. Just like for at least like 5 or 4 minutes. But I understand if he doesn't want that. You know, I'm not like that close to him. You know, it's been so long. Like, I understand. But that'd be cool. Do you have a creepy rendition of Charmix Freshka Slim, aka the ones you've made, that actually gives you chills? If so, what is one of them? And if not, are you just used to your naturally creepy creations? Yes and no. I am used to what I make. So like when I make a monster, I'm just like, I don't think that it's creepy, I just think that it's cool. However, there are two. There is one that used to scare me, and that was Nightmare, back when I made it as a kid. That one scared me, like even me. It doesn't scare me now, I think it's super cool. But there are two that really scare me. The first one is the Flesher. And the Flesher wasn't scary to me back then, but it is scary to me now. It's kind of this like representation of like my childhood fears, and you got Dearly Beloved playing, and then and now that's like my comfort game. Like Kingdom Hearts is my comfort game, and Dearly Beloved, I have so many good memories and good things associated with that melody, and then it becomes a nightmare, and like it becomes like it's like these weird sounds that are playing, the weird music that's playing. It's super obscure, but it's from video games that used to scare me as a kid. Not every single one of them. That'd be like that was pretty much like almost every game, but these games especially like were pretty scary to me. And so I'm just gonna put that into this monster, and it creeps me out. Like it creeps me out. Like it gives me chills. And another one doesn't necessarily make me scared, but makes me sad for some reason. And that's, again, the scissor lift from Charmix Becomes 18 Plus. It's just so disturbing. It's the music, it's the beep beep boop boop beep. Like it's just the constant like watching that part is panic inducing. It doesn't let you breathe with the music. The visuals are so weird. And that face, this face is so scary to me for some reason now. It just makes me feel bad things. I don't know. It's just these two like make me feel scared and sad. Individually. So I don't like them that much. But for that reason, I kind of love them. They're some of my favorites. The Flesher is actually pretty damn cool. I feel like that's one of the less talked about ones when I talk with my friends about the creatures I've made and ones that I could put into Dead Open. I feel like the Flesher is pretty cool. Thank you for the question. That's a great question. 1. In your opinion, what was the best YTP you think you've made so far? I think I've answered this, so it's between Fresh Custom Becomes Demented and Charmix Becomes 18 Plus. I think they're both fantastic in their own rights. Why does the Kazakh language sound like a motorcycle? Hey, if your language sounds like a motorcycle, that's a pretty cool language. I don't know why, but I know the Czech language can sound really weird. Like, I don't know why I'm burping so much. It must be the coffee. Here's a tongue twister from Czech. 333 stříbrných stříkaček stříkalo přes 333 stříbrných střech. Now that sounds crazy. Strč prs krsk krk. Strč prs krsk krk. So, yeah, some of these European, maybe even Asian languages, like, they can sound really weird sometimes. How did you start making YTPs and why? Also, what is your secret to making them so good? And how did you come across Charmix's channel back then? So I started making YTPs because I've wanted Charmix to react to one, and I've always loved YTPs, and the idea of making a YTP ever since I was a kid. I've answered that, I think, here, in this video. It's so long, this video. Also, what is your secret to making them so good? So, if you want to make good YTPs, or even just good media, like video games, videos, movies, like stories, like art, be yourself. Find your own style, and don't be afraid to do what you feel like doing, like using your strengths to your advantage. I think it really, really helps. So Because I tried to make YouTube poops for the longest time, and I was just copying the styles of other people. It was with this RoxyYTP channel where I finally kind of understood, or like, I kind of got into the groove of things and found my own style. And it was literally me just screwing around and having fun, just being just like, ah, screw this, I'm just gonna do some really weird stuff. And yeah, so follow your heart, I guess, and just make your own stuff the way you want it to be. Like, have your own style. Find your own style, and that really helps. How did you come across Charmix's channel back then? I remember in 2015, he was one of the first YouTubers I started like really watching. Him and Jinx, like I used to watch them so much. And I loved Charmix in 2015. I think I found him in like late-ish 2015, and I've watched him ever since. I remember being young on my Samsung tablet and being just like, oh, like 11 years old or something, and just like being, oh, I love Charmix, I love this guy. I was 11 or 12, like, yeah, I love him. I still, hey, we're now here with Fresh Cut Slim, and I'm an adult now. And yeah, so it's a long time, it's 9 years now. But I came across it just on YouTube, because I loved like reaction videos. Would you consider doing a YTP collab with Jack7M with one of my Fresh Cut Slim remixes? Absolutely, I'd love to collab with other people. And Visor, I know it's you. I think it's you at least. But yeah, unless you want that information to be secret, in which case I'm sorry. But yeah, I'd love to do a collab. Jack7M obviously, OG, along with Gore King and others. Like, there's so many YouTube poopers now that came back like that are like OGs, and I'd love to do a collab one day. Alright, but I'm so limited on time, it's like, and that's genuinely not even like an excuse, it's just, yeah, I'm so limited, but I'd love to collab. I've never done a collab, so it'd be a first for me, but I'd love to do it. And with Jack7M, that'd be fantastic. Maybe like a mega collab, but not like a mega collab, like a big collab with like 3 or 4 people. I think that could be actually really cool. Do you have any specific game genres out there that you look for? Or do you just play whatever and see if you like it or not? Kind of like music. I love almost every genre of game because, again, just like with music, there's something to every genre of music and how it makes you feel, and there's something to every game and what experience it gives you. Like with horror games, I love horror games because they make you scared. They give you that feeling that you don't get with other games. I think my favorite type of game are like RPG games, role-playing games, maybe even story-based games. And that's the kind of game I'd like to make. It's like an RPG, similar to something like, I could say like Final Fantasy and Undertale, but I think most similar would probably be like a mix of Kingdom Hearts and Earthbound 64, if anybody knows what that is. Earthbound 64 is an unreleased version of Mother 3, and I'd love to kind of incorporate some of that magic into Dead Open. I just think that it had some really cool ideas that never were really realized. Yeah, it'd be super cool, but I love video games. I grew up with video games. My first ever video game, at least everybody tells me this, was Rayman 2, The Great Escape. One of my favorite games of all time, and I played that one when I was 3 years old, or even 2, as my grandma says, so yeah, I love video games. Personally, I started getting into JRPG, stuff like Dragon Quest, Yakuza, and hopefully Final Fantasy. I didn't actually read the second part, but same. Like, these are games I love. These are probably my favorite video games. And especially if it's like an indie RPG, or JRPG, like, those are some of my favorite in general, and I really feel like, I think just my favorite must be the Kingdom Hearts series, just because, yeah, it's kind of stupid and silly, but the music, it's got probably the best soundtrack of any video game series ever. Yoko Shimomura is an actual beast, and the gameplay is mostly, in most of the games, super good and fluid and fun. And it has aged so well, and I like the story actually, and the designs are fantastic. Like, I love the Kingdom Hearts series, and anything like that, like Final Fantasy. I love Final Fantasy as well, and I want to start getting into Yakuza. Looks fantastic. Is your username inspired by the band Roxy music? If not, would encourage your username. You have to ask my sister. I was originally going to be called Babona, Babona YTP. that was the like name I chose for myself for like my YTP career. But ended up being Roxy because I needed a different channel to upload my YTP Mega Collab entry. And so I stole my sister's channel, which had like no content on it, and it was called RoxyKate. And after that, I renamed it to RoxyYTP. I asked my sister, hey, can I use your channel to make YTPs on it? She was like, yeah, sure. So I renamed it. When I made Charmix Becomes a Scary Reactor, I renamed it to RoxyYTP because I want to specify that I make YTPs in my channel username. And so you gotta ask my sister. Her nicknames everywhere were just Roxy. Like that was like her own online username. And I've kept it the same ever since. What's your first ever YTP? Ever watched YTP? And are you lactose intolerant? I'm not lactose intolerant. I love milk. I love stuff like that. God, I love milk. And the first YTP I've ever watched, I mean, I was a small kid, so I have no idea. But I'm gonna say like one of the first that I remember, and that's still on YouTube, that I watched must have been the Toy Story YTP because I watched that one so much. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm gonna show it here. That was like one of the first YTPs I ever watched as a kid, and I love that video. It was my favorite videos to watch as a kid. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I remember it very well. What's your biggest fear if you have one? My biggest fear. I think I have I've kind of developed a fear. Like, if we're talking like phobias, I'm not scared of spiders, I'm scared of fungus. Like mold. Mushrooms a little bit too. But mold, I hate mold. Like, I have a phobia of mold, I hate that stuff. Anytime I see mold, like on food, I just wanna like... It's so disgusting. Like, I genuinely get shivers over my whole body. If I see a spider, I'm like, hey spider, how you doing? Fuck it, I'll touch the damn spider. But mold? You got me lost on that. But in general, like fear, that's not a phobia. I've developed a fear of like losing stuff that I have made. Like losing all of my progress. Because that's happened to me so many times where I've made something, I've created something, I've built something up, and then it just gets taken away from me. So I hate that. I hate it. And I've experienced that so many times. I've experienced that here on the Roxy channel. I've experienced that on other channels in life. It's kind of become my biggest fear. But really, probably my biggest one is not accomplishing the dreams that I want to accomplish, like not accomplishing my goals. And so I really want to work towards that not happening and start working on what I want to work on, which is the game. Will you ever make a Fresh Cut Slim game in a YTP style? I don't think so, but it is possible. The game that I want to make, the RPG, Dead Open, I think I'm going to incorporate a lot of YouTube poop styled humor into it because that's what I'm good at, I guess. And Fresh Cut Slim, I don't know, maybe he appears or something, maybe one of his songs is in the game. I'd love to like talk business with Fresh Cut Slim about this. But yeah, that would take a long time just making a Fresh Cut Slim game around him. I'm not going to do that. You like trains? I like trains. They're pretty cool and comfy. I especially like trains when they have like charger like things when you can plug in your phone and charge it. Those are my favorite trains. Question, what is your favorite color? It's got to be between purple and amber. I love those two colors, but I like every color. But I think between those two. Why so serious? Why so serious? That probably destroy your ears because my microphone isn't set up properly. Because I'm the Joker, baby. What's your favorite Charmix or Fresh Cut Slim YTP? One of my favorite Charmix YTPs is Jarmix of Charmix. That one was so good. And Fresh Cut Slim YTP, I don't remember what it's called, but it's that one YTP with where like Charmix, like the Zucchini King, chases Fresh Cut Slim around like in a car, and then he goes into a plane. Like that one, it's so good. I love that Fresh Cut Slim YTP. Are you going to do any other types of YTPs other than Fresh Cut Slim? Yes. I'll probably do more YTPs that are not Fresh Cut Slim related than Fresh Cut Slim YTPs. What was the best editing video you have ever done? Best edited video, I guess. Fresh Custom becomes demented without a question. That was an editing nightmare, that video. Like every 5-6 seconds were like edited, like not every part, but like 90% of that video was just editing hell. Can you give me tips on how to make better videos for my channel? It's complicated, kinda, because you gotta like kind of figure out what you like to do, but also what other people like. One thing I would say is find like a community that is growing, and there's not enough competition, not enough people making videos about a certain topic or thing or type of video, and jump in there and try and be the best. Even if you're not gonna be the best, like you're still like, if people can see that you put a lot of work into it, and you know, there's not a lot of competition, your chances of growing in that community of doing that type of content will grow exponentially. What is your opinion on garlic bread? I love garlic bread. I love garlic. But always have your frickin' orbit or airways, whatever it's called. I don't know, wait, what is it called? I literally have it in my pocket. Okay, not. I have it downstairs. But like gums. Have those prepared so your mouth doesn't taste, what the hell? Doesn't smell like crap, but I love garlic. It's really healthy too. What was the first YTP you ever watched? Again, the same thing, probably that Toy Story YTP that I showed before. Hopefully, in editing. I hope I didn't forget. Please do a SpongeBob YTP. I really want to do one. I'm not promising anything, but we'll see. I do want to make one though. And I think I could go crazy with it too. What is your favorite thing to do at 5:37 p.m. on a Wednesday when it's June on odd number days? Probably, well, if it's June, it's probably getting hot and it's almost evening. I'm probably outside brainstorming and smoking. So yeah, that's probably what I'm doing. If you use some things from Pat and Matt in your YTPs, would you actually recommend Pat and Matt series to Fresh Cut Slim? Sure. I'm not sure he would watch it because he's not the kind of person who you can tell, hey, go watch this and he's gonna watch it. He doesn't like watch almost anything. I'd love to tell him. What I want to do is put a Pat and Matt like part from one of the episodes into a Fresh Cut Slim YTP. I think I actually have a pretty good idea for that. To at least show him that that show exists. I'm sure he's gonna comment on it. But I would recommend it to him. I just don't know if he's gonna watch it. He's not. Even if he'll say he will, he's not. Like, you just know he's not. What was the part in the YTP with the anthem of Austria-Hungary anthem gonna be about? And also, why are you so handsome? Thank you. I'm not that handsome. I have days where I look really good, and then I have days where I look like a crack addict. But Austria-Hungary, yeah, that I deleted that post where I said I was gonna use that song because I want to use it in the future, and so I didn't want to really spoil that much. So I still have the idea, but you may see it on another day. I just think, I don't know why, but when I listen to the Austria-Hungary anthem song, theme, whatever, it's I start getting really weird ideas for YouTube poops. Ever imagine about making a YTP of Billy Bob Tanley? I'm gonna be very honest with you, I don't know who that is right now, so I'm gonna quickly search it up. I have no idea. Who is Billy Bob Tanley? Oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's BPT. I did, but I don't know. I don't know. I'll see. I'm gonna be honest, I never really liked Billy Bob Tanley's reactions that much. I know who you mean now, but I know he reacted to Charmix Becomes 18+, and the whole time he just kept saying, What? What is that? What the fuck? What? Which is pretty much everybody watching Charmix Becomes 18+, their reaction was just like, what is going on? With Fresh Cuts and Becomes Demented was the same thing. It's not out of the question, but it's unlikely. I actually have a few. Oh, Me and You Productions, what's up? How do you come up with these crazy ideas for your YTPs? I want to make a crazy and silly YTPs, but I always end up drawing a blank when it comes to ideas. If you have any tips that may help me, I would appreciate it. It comes down to what you find funny, and I think, because everybody's different, so everybody has a different way of coming up with ideas. I say that if you create something funny, try and think about it, and think about how could I make it even funnier, and even funnier. Like, always keep thinking about how it could be even better and better, in a sense, if that makes sense, right? Sorry, I didn't show the question. So always try and improve what you've already made, and I'm sure it's gonna be great. And I think I've already said how I get ideas. I just look at stuff and I think, what could I do with this thing that I'm seeing, and what could I combine it with? What programs do you use to make your YTPs? I know you use Vegas and Blender, but are there any others used to make YTPs? No, Vegas, Blender, and Photoshop, and that's it. That's literally it. I want to move on to like Premiere and After Effects, because it would make my job of making YTPs a lot easier, and also it would look better and it would be faster. So yeah. Do you find creepy eyes, teeth, etc. that you use in YTPs? Do you just Google creepy eyes, or is there a specific place you go to get these horror assets? I literally just Google creepy eyes and creepy teeth. That's it. I just go on Google Images and edit it to make it look weird, and there you go. Or I take it from videos that I see, or just from other places like video games. Like, I see creepy teeth, I cut them out and I put them onto Fresh Cut Slim or something else. What inspired you to start making YTPs? In my case, YouTube creators like you inspired me to give it a shot. But what or who inspired you to make YTPs? I'd say what inspired me. Really, I just always have liked YTPs. I've answered this question. I've always liked YTPs as a kid, and so I've always wanted to like give it a shot, and maybe people like it. And after a few tries of making YTPs, it ended up happening. So here we are now. That's it for now. Thank you, Me and You Productions. Thanks for the questions. Oh my god. There's so many. We're nearing the end, okay. There's so many. What are your favorite movies / series? I don't know about series off the top of my head, but movies? Man, like Ratatouille is still probably my favorite movie. Like a lot of Pixar movies, I love them. I love, like, my favorite action movie is probably Face Off. You know, the one with Nicolas Cage and Travolta. I love that one. It's so weird, but like funny, but like kind of deep actually. It's so good. And there's more, but I can't think of the top of my head right now. What games are you playing beside the ones you posted here? Oh, sorry, I'm not showing the question. What games are you playing beside the ones you posted here? Wait, did I post games somewhere? I'm not sure. Sorry. But what games do I play? But I don't play a lot of games. The last game I've played was Amnesia: The Bunker. I don't play a lot of games. I mostly watch games and playthroughs instead of like I watch a lot of playthroughs and let's plays, but I don't play games that much, which is kind of a shame. But I want to start playing Team Fortress 2 for some reason. What music artists are you into? Do you also enjoy EDM? I enjoy EDM, and I love a lot of artists, like a lot of Newgrounds artists that I still follow, like Extruller, Waterflame, Cat Cola. It's fantastic. Video game music is amazing. I love basically every genre, because every genre has something about it that's unique and offers something different from other genres, like a different feel. Like, if I feel I like listening to classical music, I'll listen to classical and orchestral music. I'll listen to opera. I'll listen to a slow piano. If I'm feeling like working out, I'll listen to like death metal, heavy metal. I'll listen to that. I'll listen to some rap, you know, if I'm just walking down the street, some hip-hop, something like that. So, I enjoy basically every genre of music. A little country if I'm feeling really weird, I don't know. Do you like to travel? Have you visited Holland? So Holland, Netherlands, obviously. Holland is a part of the Netherlands. My dad was there, and he said it was fantastic. I haven't been there, but I really want to visit Amsterdam and Holland one day. It seems like a great place to visit. I like to travel. I'm just not really able to. But if I had the money and time, I'd love to travel the world. I really want to do that. Have you watched Cool 3D World? If not, I know Cool 3D World, and I love Cool 3D World. Like, I love these types of weird animations. They're so bizarre. I've always loved them as a kid. And I still love them, if not even more. I love stuff like this. When you found out that Soda Man is from your country, how mind-blowing was that, considering the Charmix fanbase was a niche? So, we actually have two questions, not questions, but two comments about Soda Man. That's really interesting. Yes, that was mind-blowing. And Soda Man was, and I don't want anybody else to take this like personally, but Soda Man was my favorite Charmix YouTube creator, not because of necessarily the content, but because we were both Czech and from the same country. And at one point, I'm pretty sure, at least for a while, we were like the two biggest YouTube poopers of Charmix. And so, like, it was crazy that the two biggest Charmix YouTube poopers who had completely different styles were, like, we were both from the same country, so we just spoke Czech to each other, I'm pretty sure. And I love Soda Man, actually. Yeah. I'm glad he's back. I hope he makes a Fresh Cut Slim YTP, honestly. But yeah, that was pretty mind-blowing. Like, what? That's rare. Question, do you like watching anime? I love anime, but I don't have time to really watch it. So I want to start getting into anime. I do. If you do like watching anime, do you like watching in English, dub, or Japanese with English subtitles? I usually like Japanese with English subtitles. I feel like I really want to get the original dub. You know, I'm a fan of original dubs. Except in Czech, because Czech actually has some really, really good dubs of like movies and shows and animes. But usually Japanese with English subtitles. What is your opinion on collecting toys? I don't judge. If you like collecting, that's your thing. I collect NHL jerseys and spend a lot of money on them, so that's my thing that I do. So if you like doing, you know, collecting, absolutely, why not? I don't collect toys, but if you do, all the power to you. Alright guys, thank you for listening to this Q&A. I'm gonna go edit it, and I'm gonna do other videos, and I'm also gonna go shower. So thank you for submitting your questions. I hope you like the answers, and see you. Thanks. Have a good one.